Big thanks to our sponsors who made this season of our membership meetings possible. So let's give them a big thank you. We want to thank Wintrust Bank. We want to thank People's Gas, Bear Pro Paint, Hilco Redevelopment Partners, ComEd, and as a bronze sponsor for today, GSG Consultants. Second speaker, this is folks over at the Central Management Services for the state of Illinois. We have had some conversations with Director Janel Forde over the last several weeks, and we definitely want to make sure that we give her a grand welcome to HACIA. I think this is the first time she's speaking at our membership meeting. So I want to welcome Janel Forde to have the floor and do your presentation. And I know Mr. Ramirez is going to be manning the slides. So Ms. Forde, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Can you guys hear me okay? Thumbs up, Greg. Can I see? Thumbs up?
Oh,
there we go. All right. Well, first of all, thank you for the warm welcome and thank you for your partnership and your leadership. I am Janel Forde, and I am the director of the Illinois Department of Central Management Services. And I am joined today, you see him loading the screen right now, with Ivan Ramirez. He is our public affairs specialist in the director's office. And I think many of you will know him if his name sounds familiar from HACIA. And I'm also joined by our deputy director and acting BEP secretary, Rebecca Russell. She's also on the line. I am so excited to be here for a lot of reasons. Jorge just mentioned that in the recent weeks, and I'd say months, weeks, we have really been trying to re-engage with certain important organizations, and HACIA is certainly one of them. And so I bring greetings on behalf of Governor Pritzker and Lieutenant Governor Stratton from the great state of Illinois, because it is so important that we are here to support an organization like HACIA. I will just tell you a little bit about CMS and our role in procurement and in the business enterprise program. And I appreciate that some of you may or may not be familiar. So my colleagues at Cook County did a very good job at doing a bit of a deeper dive. And so where there are similarities, I'm just going to say me too. And there are many. And when there are differences, I'll call those out. So I took some notes during their presentation, and I really hope that this will be an interactive discussion. And so please, 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 I know Christina is doing a lot of work behind the scenes. Put your comments and questions in the chat feature. We've got the chat up, and if I can kind of weave in to our this short presentation, the answers to some of your questions, I'm happy to do that. And then certainly we'll take some questions at the end, and whatever we don't answer here, we'll be able to get back to you offline. So with that, a little bit about CMS. The Department of Central Management Services is an $8 billion organization. We do a lot of things at CMS. We manage all the people functions for the state. So all the hiring across the state is managed through and led through CMS. Jorge sits on our Hispanic Employment Council, and we thank him for his leadership and partnership on that, because it is important for us to have a government and a workplace that reflects the people that we serve and who we serve. And so what I'd say to you guys, that's another plug for another day, but it is important that folks consider careers in government. So I'll leave that there, but we manage people. We lead a lot of policy benefits for the state of Illinois. And most relevant to today's conversation is really around our property management. So property includes facilities, and it also includes our vehicles, and then our procurement function. So we oversee general services procurement. We're not the CPO, but we have the procurement arm of the state for general services procurement, and we do about 1,000 procurements a year, with over $1 billion in general services spend. And that includes property, facility management, and the like. And so that's one of the reasons why we are here. One of the other reasons why I'm here is because we also oversee the business enterprise program. Now, I'm gonna get into that a little bit later, but I needed to start off by saying, and Jorge said this at the opening of his remarks, I would be remiss if we didn't thank the folks who have served our country for Veterans Day. And we know here at CMS that people don't serve alone, their families serve. So I want to thank our veterans, and I want to thank the families of veterans, people who have served and who are currently serving, and the folks who gave all for this democracy in our country. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I just had to say that before we move on. But yes, when we talk about the importance of partnership, when we talk about the importance of having people in our business enterprise program, which I'm going to talk more about later, right? We appreciate that HASI is a critical part of that. You'll see on the slide in front of you, this is a small sampling of the vendors that we have in our database that are both tagged as HASIA members, but also are part of our vendor pool. And I'm going to shout out a few. So I saw in the chat feature that is Architrave, I might have said that incorrectly, that you guys, there we go, that you guys were, you made a comment before. Well, I'm gonna recognize you. You're here front and center on our slide. We want more, okay? And my team knows this since last year when I started, my theme is often like more and better. We want more vendors. I want more participation in our vendor pool. And I love that when I got the list of names and my team gave me some logos, I was able to actually call out people that I've either met or businesses that we know that we've added or that have one business. And so Bella Dia, I met at the HASI event actually in February. And she had an issue with something going on her file at BEP, and we were able to address that for her. And so I was actually really excited to see her organization represented here. DC Mad Hatter, I met 2 years ago. Collins Engineer, I've worked with in the past, and Bauer Latoza, and I'm just naming a few. Bauer Latoza is working on the JRTC, the James R. Thompson disposition project, and we were so excited to see them as part of the phenomenal team that is working to literally do and help bring to life the idea that we can sell what is a very compelling piece of real estate that can bring greater value to the state of Illinois and toward the taxpayers, and really for also the employees who work currently in the Thompson Center. And so to have their expertise, to have them be part of our vendor pool, and to have them be part of HASIA membership, again, I just wanted to call out a few organizations. So shout out to anybody who's here. If you guys are here, put it in the chat so we get to see you. We'd love to just be able to recognize you warmly. So again, I promised you that I would talk a little bit about the Business Enterprise Program, also called BEP. Many of you are familiar probably with the City and County's MEBE-WEBE program. This program is very similar. Again, created in 1984. That wasn't that long ago, y'all. And what we know is that we need to do more and we need to do better. And so one of the things that we have been focused on at CMS, and we launched pre-pandemic, was the goal to double our vendor pool in 2020. I have to say this, and I know you all get it, but I have to say this. Doubling the vendor pool is not a vain direction or action for us. What it allows us to do is more vendors means increased goals. More vendors means that there are more opportunities for the vendors in our program, right, to actually win business. And that is exactly what we want to do. We have the opportunity to actually increase goals of the state and to rethink the vendor formula, which is something that we are looking at right now. But what we need is more vendors in our pool. And so many of you might be vendors. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But for those of you who are not, or who know other people who are not, we need you to be part of the pool. And I will talk you through how you can do that pretty easily. We have an exciting program with the City of Chicago and Cook County. And so we will talk through how you can parlay your recognition in one organization with another. Then the value proposition. Membership matters. You know this at HASIA. You have HASIA University. You have other opportunities to grow your capacity in your business. Membership matters. And for us, what we want you to appreciate or understand is that membership is free once you become certified. As our friend Donna said from Cook County, the more it does not hurt you. So the more certifications you have, truly, the better opportunities you have to potentially find procurement opportunities, vendor opportunities where you can continue to grow your business. And one of the things that we're doing, and it's kind of tied to outreach, is really around making sure that our programming is helping to meet the needs of our vendor pool. Pre-pandemic, those needs look very different than during the pandemic. And I need to just stop and say that we and I fully appreciate that small businesses have borne the brunt of this pandemic. Black and brown businesses have bore the brunt of this pandemic. Who is still buying things? Government. What we buy may have shifted and will shift and will look different. What we build and construct may look different, but as you guys heard from my colleagues at Cook County, and as you'll see later when we talk about our buying plan, we're still in the business of doing business. And so for those of you who haven't considered working with the state of Illinois or with government, I really want to, today, if I leave nothing with you, I really want to impress upon you the opportunities that you do have to expand your portfolio with the state. So just really quickly, in terms of some of the outreach that we've been doing, and we have recorded sessions, which we'll share with Hasi, and it's on our website. We've been doing procurement chats with CPOs. We've been working with various PTACs, right? That's the Procurement Technical Assistant Organizations. And we've also been doing topical webinars, right? We want to make sure that we're helping people connect to information on a timely basis. One last thing that I want to call out for you guys, we're trying something new today. So you'll see at the bottom right-hand corner of a lot of our slides, a QR code. If you flash your camera over the QR code, it will take you to the website. So that was just one of the ways that we wanted to make sure that real time, if you don't want to look at me and you don't want to read the slide, you can just take yourself right to the page that we're talking about, and you'll have real time reference between what I'm talking about and what's on the slide. All right, let's move on. All right, so we talked, there was a question earlier about certification and recognition. And so I am happy to share with you our partners that we recognize. So what this means is, if you are fully certified with any of these organizations, we recognize their certification. We acknowledge their certification. There is paperwork that you do need to fill out, but the point is, if you have any of these certifications, you can become a member in our pool on a faster track, okay? I'm just checking to see if we have any questions on that. Okay, so far all good. And again, the state's program is free. Now we're gonna move on to, and back to my conversation around value propositions. There are a lot of organizations that also accept the state's certification. So think about parlaying, you might be registered with CTA or the Illinois Department of Transportation, IDOT, or WBDC or PACE. You come and become certified with the state. You can now parlay that into working at Navy Pier or the Park District or the University of Chicago or the McCormick Place. Again, we mention this because my goal, one of the governor's goals, is to really help grow capacity and wealth generation opportunities for our small businesses, but in particular for our Black and brown businesses. And for me, I want you to come and do business with the state of Illinois. I love you to become a BEP vendor. But as a person who lives in Illinois, I just want you to grow. I want you to thrive. And I want you to create opportunities for yourselves, for your families, and for your communities in which you live. And so for me, if you never take a state contract or aren't interested in a state contract, but you do, find opportunities with the PBC, we are all better for that. So we wanted to make sure that you guys had a sense of how, if you are certified with the state, you can also, again, parlay that and leverage that into certifications with other entities. And again, increasing the options that you have to do business, because the opportunities may look different, but they are still there. Now, really exciting this year, and I'm happy my colleagues at Cook County let me say this, is we have introduced FastTrack. So FastTrack is a program where if you are in good standing with either the city of Chicago and their MeBe program and or Cook County, you can become certified with the state of Illinois within 7 business days for free. I will say that again. You will be able to become certified with the state of Illinois within 7 business days if you are in good standing for free. What does that look like? It's very simple. The next slide will kind of illustrate that for you. You're in good standing, you send us proof of certification with either Cook County or the city of Chicago. I put on this slide the affidavit because I wanted you to see how simple it is. This is the affidavit. That's it. You email the affidavit to the email there. That's it. That's it. Free. You already have your certification. Fill out the affidavit. We certify you in 7 business days. It's actually fewer, but 7 business days. Okay. We have really tried, and I said this at the top, to think about how we can make access to business opportunities more real. And one of the things that we know is a problem in government is bureaucracy. And I really want to thank my colleagues at Cook County who are on the line, and folks obviously from the city of Chicago who worked with us to bring this program to you. So if you get emails from us or if you hear them talking about it, again, this is value add for you. So just want to make sure that, and Jorge knows, I talk about this all the time. I get really excited because I'm like, there's no reason not to do it. It literally is only of value to you. And again, what it helps me do, even if you don't choose to work with the state or respond to bids, what it allows us to do is it also, the more vendors we have in our pool allows us to help increase our goals. So it is a win-win-win-win. All right, also new this year is buying plans. So my colleagues at Cook County talked a lot about the buying plan, and I will just tell you that we share information with them. I know that the city of Chicago and Cook County and state of Illinois generally produce an annual joint buying plan. And then throughout the year, and we're on different fiscal years, but throughout the year, we all post more information about updates to our plans. One of the things that we did at the state of Illinois that I think is different from Cook County and the city of Chicago is our buying plan was behind a site where you had to register. And for me, and I challenged my team, what that meant was you already had to decide you wanted to do business with us. What we wanted to do was to make it more accessible for people who maybe had never thought or never wanted to do business with us. So we never had our buying plan in a PDF format. We only had our buying plan on our bid buy system, which is where we register our small businesses. Now, what I will say to you there is membership matters. Being in bid buy means you get updated information. Being in bid buy means when you have codes tagged to your organization, you get information about RFQs or Ps that are going out, invitations for bids because of that. So I would absolutely tell you, register in bid buy. But what I will also tell you guys, for those of you who are like, I don't know about this date, I'm not sure what the opportunities are, this is not everything, okay? But this is a beginning and I joke because I'm not a procurement person, I'm like an easy to understand format in a PDF way for you to understand what our opportunities are. We will be updating this monthly, so literally by next month it will look better and more robust and it will look further out. But this was our first approach and path at making sure that, again, people who are new to maybe working with the state had a sense of what we were purchasing in an easy to digest manner, okay? So definitely check out our buying plan and check back at it often because we will be updating it. But certainly, you know, I would say the key places to be looking, as Hasia obviously is focused on construction, would be CDB, Capital Development Board. We at CMS we do more facility management. And so you'll definitely see that in our buying plan. But I will absolutely tell you, being registered in bid buy helps, but at a minimum, download this PDF, okay? Now, Jorge doesn't know that I was gonna do this. So I got a challenge for y'all, which is the Hasia challenge, okay? So my team told me that we had about 70 or so vendors in our vendor pool that we were able to identify as Hasia vendors and now are members. And I actually suspect that number is low. When we started this year, of course, again, pre-pandemic, we had a goal of doubling our vendor pool and we're well on our way to meeting that goal. But we certainly need you. And we need your friends and we need your colleagues and your business partners to help us in that. And again, because I know many of you have certifications with different organizations that you saw previously in this presentation, it's real simple, one affidavit. And so I'm gonna challenge y'all and challenge us to literally, now I'm gonna also do homeschool math. So we're gonna say 75-ish times 2 is 150.
Sure.
You know, for those of you who are homeschooling, I'm sure you're familiar, like it's not quite exactly right. But that is the challenge that I have for Hacia. And quite frankly, I'd love it to be more, and I want it to be more. You know, Jorge's heard me say this a million times. It will never get old and it will never be enough for me to say that we have too many vendors in our pool. Now we grew, and y'all grew, not me, but you guys grew, your community grew spend with the state by 5% last year. And again, COVID has changed a lot of things of what we spend and how we buy and where we buy. Why can't we do more? If we have more vendors, we will have more participation. And I hope what you've heard today from me, and I hope what you've seen from my team over the last few months and weeks has been, we're really trying to be available and accessible and be in the places that you are. And so when Jorge invited me to come, I think it was March, and then we did the lockdown, and now we're here again, we jumped at this opportunity because you're such an important organization, but you also have reach. And so what I wanted to do today, because I knew my colleagues at Cook County were going to do a little bit of a deeper dive, was to give you some nuggets that I hope you feel comfortable sharing with other people. We're also in the chat going to share some links that again correspond to the QR codes and some information that you can then share with other people. More, and more. We will never get sick or tired of growing our vendor pool and growing opportunities for people who look like me and people who look like you. We are here in this state. We participate in this economy and the development of young people, of our communities. And I absolutely want to see more people of color, specifically Black and brown people, in spaces where they're able to grow their businesses. We are not going to ever stand in the stead of Hacia. That is not our job. It's not our place. And we could never take that relevant place. Our job, as I see it, my job, is to help provide opportunities and to make those opportunities clear and to make them plain. So one of the things I wrote down, I have a lot of notes here. One of the things I wrote down from some of the Q&A and also from the Cook County presentation was regarding workshops. And so one of the things that I want to flag for you guys is, and we are super happy to do a workshop. So Jorge, you tell me later if this is what you want, on Business 101, working with the state, and we could do multiple. We have done programming in multiple languages, specifically Spanish, as we try to be more accessible to people and meeting them where they are. I will also flag for you all that we are doing an event with JLL, who is one of our facility manager leads, and we will be happy to share that information with you guys. It is a 101 in terms of meet and greet, but also an understanding of some of the facility management contracts and opportunities that we will have going forward. Now, one of the things that Director Manning said, and I just want to underscore that, is we're accessible, we want to talk to you, but we cannot talk to you about procurement opportunities, especially once they're let. And that includes me. So I just want to remind folks of that, but we will also share our email inbox, which is cms.bep.outreach@illinois.gov. If you've got questions, that is absolutely the place to send emails. One of the great things about CMS is we've got both our Bureau of Strategic Sourcing, our procurement arm, and BEP in the same organization. And so we are very much trying to work more closely together. But the good news is we can also share questions and have conversations back and forth. So if you've got a question and you send it to the outreach inbox, even if it's a procurement related question, we will route it to the right place. So I'm gonna close out in about a minute, but I wanted to say thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your interest in learning more about the state of Illinois and specifically the Business Enterprise Program. Jorge, your leadership. If you guys don't know, I mentioned at the top that he sits on our Employment Council, but he also sits on our BEP Council. So he is a tireless advocate and voice for your community and for your organization. And so I want to shout him out publicly and thank him for his partnership and his leadership. And again, I just want to flag for you guys, we've got our codes here at the bottom of the screen. FastTrack certification, challenge me today, like download them, fill them out, get them to us. You'll see in the center, CMS events and our social media. One of the things that we want to do is to help connect the dots between primes and subs. And let me be clear, I appreciate that some of the members of HACIA are primes. So when I'm talking sometimes about the matchmaking, it's with full recognition that you guys have primes, but that there are a lot of subs. And so as we are looking at different industry groups and how to make those connections and introductions, one of the things that we are starting to use is our social media channels. So you'll see that we, and if you haven't seen, check out, we do some features on LinkedIn. We do a weekly email that goes out every Monday. And we're also going to be launching in the near future a Facebook page. So if you would like to be featured, once you become certified, if you'd like to be featured or you'd like to give us an idea about a program or an event, please feel free to do so. Our events page is also provided here with a QR code as well. We update our events regularly, weekly, so certainly check that out. And then the last thing is the buying plan. As I mentioned before, it is updated monthly, or it is updated monthly. So definitely check back often. And then of course you see in the center of the page, there's some people you might recognize. So Beth Doria, Rosa Escareno, who I worked with at the mayor's office very closely. And then for some of you who've worked with the city of Chicago, Aisha Klajolu is our Chief Operating Officer. And for those of you who don't know, she was the former head of architecture, engineering, construction, and the trades at the city of Chicago, where I met her. We worked together as colleagues. And she's now leading facility management, agency services. She's a COO for CMS. So you have a friend in us. You have a partner in us. If you don't know, ask about us. But we are so happy. And Jorge, thank you so much for allowing us to have this opportunity to connect with your folks. We are happy to take any questions that you have. And I hope that we can talk about how we get to 150 in the very near future. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Janelle. Yeah, we're up for that challenge. I think that's something that we could definitely do. I do have a question though. Who would be the direct contact at CMS regarding questions about this FastTrack certification process?
Sure. So we'll put her email in the chat. Nicole. Actually, no, sorry. Well, actually, I'll put Nicole's. Nicole.mandeville2@illinois.gov. So we will put that in the chat. Nicole will be your point of contact. It goes through a certification process. That's a different team and individual. We try to keep them a little separate. But generally speaking, folks have found it pretty easy. So my hope and anticipation is that you guys will be able to download it and be able to fill it out. And then if you've got questions, reach out to Nicole and we'll definitely get back to you.